बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। जी, आज हमारा जो यूनिट अंडर डिस्कशन है एमडी कैट सिलेबस 2025 का, उसका टाइटल है इवोल्यूशन। और इसमें तीन मेन टॉपिक्स हैं। नंबर वन इज कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ इवोल्यूशन, नंबर टू इज लमार्किज्म एंड थर्ड वन इज डार्विनिज्म। तो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द फर्स्ट वन, which is the explanation about the origin of life according to the concept of evolution। तो आज ये पहली हम जो लेसन है उसमें ये डिस्कस करते हैं। अब देखिए, ये जो इकोलॉजी और इसी तरह टेक्सोनोमी के सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, दे आर टोटली डिस्क्रिप्टिव सब्जेक्ट्स, और ये हमेशा चेंज हो सकते हैं बिकॉज दे बेस्ड ऑन सर्टन एविडेंसेस। और एविडेंसेस जो हैं वो विद द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ साइंस चेंज होती रहती हैं, इवॉल्व होती रहती हैं, डेवलप होती रहती हैं। तो इसलिए ये दोनों जो मेन एवोल्यूशन और टेक्सोनोमी हैं, साइंसेज में ये चेंज होते रहते हैं। टेक्सोनोमी बहुत ज़्यादा चेंज होती है, एवोल्यूशन में तो फिर बहरहाल कंक्रीट एविडेंसेस जो हैं वो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम वो शायद सेम रहती हैं। सो फर्स्ट टॉपिक इज एक्सप्लेनेशन अबाउट द ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ अकॉर्डिंग टू कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ इवोल्यूशन। अब देखिए, कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ इवोल्यूशन क्या है। अब इसमें कुछ पॉइंट्स जो हम डिस्कस करेंगे। नंबर वन इज डेफिनेशन ऑफ एवोल्यूशन, देन वी एक्सप्लेन इट, its significance in biology, then distinguish we are supposed to distinguish between the theory of special creation and natural selection, then discussion about the major contributors to evolutionary thoughts, then we are supposed to describe the origin of life and cellular evolution from prokaryotes to eukaryotes, and then the explanation about the significance of oxygen and multicellularity in life history. So first one is the introduction to evolution. So what is evolution? Evolution is the gradual process by which living organisms have evolved and developed and diversified from earlier forms over geological time, and it explains the origin of biodiversity and how all life is connected through common ancestry. अब देखिए, इसमें हमने जियोलॉजिकल टाइम पीरियड का है, तो जियोलॉजिकल टाइम पीरियड जो है इट शुड बी इन मिलियन ऑफ ईयर्स। सो ये चेंज है फ्रॉम सिंपल वन टू मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्स वन with the passage of time, and passage of time should be in million of years, not in decades। तो ये एवोल्यूशन की जो है एक आप कह लीजिए कि सिंपल या एक क्रूड डेफिनेशन है। सो व्हाई स्टडी एवोल्यूशन? Definitely, it will help us to understand the unity and diversity of life। यानी देखिए, कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी बातें हो गई कि यूनिटी भी हम देख रहे हैं, डाइवर्सिटी भी देख रहे हैं, और इन दोनों के अंदर जो है वो इवोल्यूशन का रोल है। देन explanation about the adaptation and survival strategies of organisms, and then the fundamental to field like genetics, ecology and conservation biology, यानी क्या रोल प्ले करती है एवोल्यूशन का की डेवलपमेंट या उसकी जो उसके बारे में स्टडी है। अब जो की पॉइंट्स हैं, की क्वेश्चन हमें सामने आते हैं व्हेन वी एक्सप्लोर द एवोल्यूशनरी बायोलॉजी। नंबर वन इज हाउ डिड लाइफ बिगिन, then how did complex organisms evolve from simpler ones, then what causes species to change over time, and how organisms related। So uh, before going into much detail, why now to discuss about evolution versus special creation theory या special creation concept। Special creation theory and concept is actually giving us and proposing us that all the organisms were created by a divine force in their current form. That is, there is no change, no evolution, no change, and they remain same. They have been created as such by the divine force, and it is definitely sort of certain religious thoughts due to certain religious concepts. So no change in species over time according to the special creation theory, and it is supported by religious beliefs and early naturalists like Linnaeus. So theory of evolution, which is mostly we can say, the natural selection proposed by Charles Darwin. Species change over time through natural processes. Natural selection, organism with beneficial traits survive and reproduce more successfully, passing traits to next generations. Example, for example, the beaks of Darwin's finches change shape depending on type of food available on different islands, direct result of natural selection, and it based on the study of Darwin during his voyage. So why evolution prevails today? Supported by fossil record, comparative anatomy, molecular biology, and genetics concepts, so provide a unifying theory for all life sciences. So that's why the evolution concept is more prevalent nowadays as compared to special creation theory. Then comes the contribution of major scientists. For example, we will study different name of different scientists and their contribution and their impact on our concept building and scientific knowledge and concepts development. So Linnaeus, its contribution is he developed taxonomy and binomial nomenclature. His studies impact helped to classify life and thoughts. He thought about the fixed species concept, yani special creation concept. Then Lamarck proposed inheritance of acquired characters, mean use and disuse of organs. Then early evolutionary ideas, and later his ideas were disproven by the scientific community. Malthus wrote on population growth and limited resources, and influenced his work influenced the Darwin's idea of competition and survival. Then Cuvier studied fossils, supported catastrophism, showed species could go extinct. Lyell, Earth changes gradually. Uniformitarianism supported deep geological time needed for evolution. Then the Darwin proposed evolution by natural selection, and his work revolutionized the biology with scientific explanation of life discoveries. Then Mendel studied inheritance using pea plants, and he was the father of modern genetics, helped explanation in the and variation in evolutions. Wallace independently conceived natural selection and encouraged Darwin to publish his work. Origin of life on Earth. So this was our fundamental question. We know that Earth's formation and early conditions, we get this idea by the study of different geologists. For example, Earth formed around 4.6 billion years ago. Early Earth was hot, volcanic, and with no oxygen. Life likely began in water, possibly in hydrothermal vents, where chemical reactions were fueled by heat and minerals. Then hypothesis for life's origin, primordial soup hypothesis, organic molecules formed in the ocean from simple chemicals. So this is the prevalent idea, and it is giving us the organic evolution concept. Then the hydrothermal vent hypothesis, life began in deep sea vents where bacteria like organisms live using heat and minerals. And if we study and look into much more detail, so we come across that hydrothermal vent hypothesis more likely acceptable and logical. If we study different types of life, so earliest life forms were of prokaryotes. Bacteria-like cells appeared 3.5 billion years ago, and archaeobacteria are thought to resemble early life due to their survival in extreme conditions. Mean hydrothermal vent hypothesis, they supporting their presence, their occurrence is much more supportive of that hydrothermal vent hypothesis idea. Then comes the role of photosynthesis and oxygen. This is the last point. Photosynthesis as a turning point. First, photosynthetic organism may have used hydrogen sulfide. Then later, cyanobacteria used water, releasing oxygen as a byproduct, and oxygen changed the Earth's atmosphere, making aerobic conditions and respiration possible. Effects of oxygenation, formation of ozone layer. We know that it is a protective layer responsible for protection against UV radiations coming from the space. Then shift from reducing to oxidizing atmosphere, end of spontaneous life, origin of life due to reactive oxygen destroying simple organic compounds. So previously, there is one time, according to scientists, that these simple molecules, they unite together to form complex molecules and prokaryotes and so on. Now, the oxidizing conditions, they are supposed to suppress the spontaneous origin of life, because the oxygen reactive agents, species, they are responsible for destruction of simple organic compounds. Then comes the evolution from prokaryotes to eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are simple single-celled organisms without nucleus or membrane-bound organelles. Eukaryotes, more complex cells with nucleus and organelles like mitochondria, chloroplast. So, hypothesis about evolution of eukaryotic cells. So, there are two concepts. One is endosymbiotic hypothesis proposed by Margulis, and then the large, according to his concept, rather her concept, a large prokaryotes engulf small bacteria during course of evolution. So mitochondria, for example, aerobic bacteria, they are actually helping the eukaryotic cells to use oxygen as a source of energy. Then chloroplast, cyanobacteria or cyanobacteria-like organism carrying out photosynthesis instead of digestive. So these are the two endomembranous structures responsible for the energy transductions. So endosymbiotic hypothesis is mostly supporting this idea. So instead of digesting them, the host cell form a mutual relationship, endosymbiosis. What is the evidence? Mitochondria and chloroplast have their own DNA, number one. They replicate like bacteria and they have double membranes. So these are the, what we say, evidences supporting the endosymbiotic theory about the mitochondria and chloroplast entry into eukaryotic cells. Then there is one other thing. What about the rest of the endomembranous organelles like nucleus and other organelles? So there is other concept which is membrane invagination hypothesis. According to certain scientists, that the cell membranes folded inward to surround DNA and other compartments. So then the structures become endoplasmic reticulum, then the nucleus, Golgi complex, so vacuoles. So it means that there are two different theories about the eukaryotic cells origin. So first one about the mitochondria and chloroplast, and second one is about the membrane and other membranous structures. So both are what we say true to some extent. So emergence of multicellular life, step-by-step progression, unicellular eukaryotes live independently. Some began to live in colonies. Gradually, cells specialized into tissues and organs. So multicellular organism adapted to land, sea, and air. Examples, algae to plants, protozoa to animals, fungi evolved as separate eukaryotic cells. So there is a summary. Evolution explains the diversity of life through natural processes. Major contributors like Darwin, Mendel, Wallace laid the foundation of modern biology. Life likely began in oceans from simple cells and gradually became complex. Eukaryotic cells evolved through either endosymbiosis or membrane foldings. So multicellularity enabled complex life and specialization. So that is all about the origin of life concept and part of syllabus. And we will start with next lesson shortly. Allah Hafiz.